Have you ever revisited a forgotten game from your childhood to see if it's better or worse than you remember? I'm Kutski, and this is my review of Gods Remastered for Nintendo Switch.
Get ready!
Bitmap Brothers were one of my favourite developers growing up in the European home computer gaming golden era of the late 80s and early 90s. Games like Speedball 2 and Xenon 2 are still some of my favourite games of all time. And then there was Gods. I only have vague memories of the game, to be honest, but I remember not being overly impressed by it, so I was quite disappointed of all the Bitmap Brothers game to get the remastered treatment. We got Gods. But I'm a sucker for any taste of nostalgia, so I picked it up to see how the game holds up 30 years later. Instantly, I was reminded what put me off as a kid. The game has a very slow and deliberate pace. Your character's overly animated, similar to Prince of Persia controls, where you can't interrupt any inputs during the animation, so if you hit jump, there's no controlling your character in mid-air until the floaty jump is complete. You can't attack while crouching, you can't even change the direction you're facing while crouching without standing up first. All of these design choices are very jarring if you're used to playing fast and fluid action games like Contra, for example. But with my newfound adult patience, I decided to give the game a fair shake, and after a few tries, I slowly started to appreciate the slow and methodical combat. Memorising enemy placements and solving puzzles kept me coming back with the just one more attempt hook, which prevented me from bouncing off the game as hard and fast as I did when it was originally released. Don't get me wrong, this is still not one of my favourite Bitmap Brothers games, but I have a newfound appreciation for it and respect for why the game does have such a passionate fanbase. The work done for this remaster is very impressive. The game's now presented in widescreen aspect ratio, the graphics and sound have been completely overhauled with a modern aesthetic and soundtrack. But if you want a blast of nostalgia, a simple click of the right thumbstick switches the graphics and sound back to the original 16-bit home computer versions in real time. I've seen this in a few remakes and remasters now, and honestly it's one of my favourite features. Other than a level save replacing the password system, not much more work has been done to add any new features. There's no save states or additional options to play around with, which was a little bit disappointing. I think a lot of people pick these games up just for a quick blast of nostalgia rather than the intent of mastering the game all over again. So I don't know why they don't just put a cheat menu in for like level select, max weapon upgrades, infinite lives, God mode, if you'll excuse the pun, just so you can see everything the game has to offer without putting the work in to get good, if that's not what you're here for. These were all features that we would have had back in the day with cheat codes, if not in the original game, certainly in the cracked versions of the games that admittedly a lot of us were playing back then. I don't think I could recommend this game to somebody who has no nostalgia for the original, unless this style of game is something you specifically enjoy. But equally, if you're a fan of the original game, this remaster is a must-have. If, like me, you've got some nostalgia for it, wait for a sale. I picked it up for about £2.50 recently and absolutely felt that I got that value from the game. And it also eased the guilt of knowing that I pirated it back in the day. But yeah, don't tell Bitmap Brothers. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. That'll help me out a lot with launching this new channel. And let me know in the comments how wrong my opinion about Gods is. I was surprised looking online how many people said that this was actually one of their favourite childhood games, so I'm interested to hear your thoughts. But until next time, this is Kutski signing out, keeping the games alive.